Hey, good morning, y'all. Pastor Dallas here with today's Real Talk from the Heart. Today's Real Talk comes from the book of Acts, chapter 22, and verse 3. And the background is the Apostle Paul giving his defense in Jerusalem. I love this verse. I am indeed a Jew born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our father's law, and was zealous toward God as you all are today. The word zeal, it means intense devotion. So to be zealous means, right, the state or the being, right, living with intense devotion. Paul says in his defense, he says, I have been intensely devoted to God. Man, I love that, man, because in this life, man, there are so many things that we can choose to be, zealous for. In this life, we can choose, right, who or what we are going to be intensely devoted to. Now, as I think this thing through, what are the signs? What are the signs of intense devotion? Man, how can we recognize when we are intensely devoted to someone or something? I believe that there are three practical ways to recognize intense devotion. Number one is our thoughts. Thought dominance, right? What dominates our thinking, our thoughts? What do we give our mind to regularly or constantly? What do we devote our thoughts to? That is what we are intensely devoted to. Secondly, it's time, right? What dominates our time? What do we devote time specifically for? That also reveals intense devotion. It reveals what we are zealous towards. And then thirdly, it's resources. It's resources. Resource dominance. And what we devote our resources to reveals what or who we are, intensely devoted to. Now, what are the signs of a lack of zeal? What are the signs of a lack of intense devotion, again, for something or someone? Well, it's the same three practical things, y'all. If something rarely comes to mind, if something is a passing thought or just rarely ever comes to mind, then that is a sign and evidence that there is a lack of intense devotion. There is a lack of zeal for that something or that someone. Secondly, it's when time is minimized, right? We give infrequent time or minimal time to something or someone. That reveals a lack of intense devotion. That means that we are not zealous toward, again, that someone or that thing if we can minimize our time in devotion to that. In other words, it becomes expendable. It's something that's on the chopping block, right, early on. We make up our minds quick on whether or not we're going to do that or not. It's expendable. That reveals a lack of intense devotion. Thirdly, that resource dominance. I was thinking when there's a lack of a desire to make sacrifices, right? If there's an unwillingness to make sacrifices, that reveals a lack of intense devotion. That reveals a lack of zeal toward that someone or that something. Now, the zeal of the Lord was demonstrated through Christ. Paul says, listen, I've been zealous toward God my whole life. But then when Paul realized that God sent his son to die in his place, that God demonstrated that zeal, that intense devotion for Paul, man, it captured his heart. It changed him forever. What should be our response? What should be our response to God's zeal for you and me? I believe our response to God's zeal for you and me should be one of intense devotion. And to not respond to the cross with anything less than intense devotion is really an insult to the grace of God. Because of God's intense devotion for you and me, may we own our lives. May we own our lives. Listen, I hope this blessed you. I hope it spoke to your heart. I hope it challenged you. I know I was challenged by it this morning when I read Paul saying that he was intensely devoted to God. I had to stop and ask myself, man, are you intensely devoted to God? Where's your zeal at? And man, it really just kind of, put a check in my heart this morning. And I hope it did to you as well. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart this morning. I want to remind you the Lord loves you. I love you too. I'm praying for you. Asking that you please be praying for me as well. Man, salute. God bless y'all. Thank you for tapping in.